Um, looks like a lot of the people are in, so I think we might just start. It is past anyway, so for all the people that are on time, thank you very much. We appreciate that. So today we are going to start on our second season of our webinars. Thank you to all of those people that have joined in on the first season, and now we have a very exciting second season. Season 2 will consist of 5 episodes as well, each week at about this time. Now that we're in level 3, we appreciate that some people have had to go back to work, and so this time might not suit everyone, but we would like to then ask for some feedback if you would like it at a slightly later time, or maybe on a different day. We'll put some, or if you could just put in the chat, maybe just a comment about that, everybody who is here, and then we'll have a look and see if there's a need for that. The usual housekeeping rules apply. Oh my gosh, today I've forgotten to take my glasses off. The usual housekeeping rules apply, but we'll be muting you while the presentation is taking place. Please post your questions in the chat. If we do not get to all of your questions, we will then deal with those in the morning, Tarryn and I, between us, if there is anything extra that we need to answer. We will post the details of how to purchase the Saxenburg wines and the Riedel glassware at the beginning and the end of the chat. I think Chantal has already started doing that. And listen out for some great specials that we have for today. As we've said, I hope you all have a few glasses of wine, just random glasses at your side with a little bit of wine, because we're going to be doing a little bit of a tasting experience as well today. So be ready for that. So a very warm welcome to Tarryn. Thank you very much for joining us today. You have achieved great things for Riedel in South Africa. And for those who have not had a Riedel experience before, you should definitely try to organize one, or try to see if you can get Tarryn to come and do one for you, because they really are an eye-opening experience. So Tarryn, maybe you could just start by telling us a little bit about your journey into wine and where you kind of currently are in the industry.
Okay, awesome. Welcome everybody, and also thank you, Kerry, for putting this together. And this is my first webinar, so I'm very excited. We've been doing some awesome stuff on Instagram and Instagram Live, but this is officially my first webinar that I'm co-hosting. So thank you, Kerry, and to everybody at Saxenburg for putting this together. I'm very excited. My journey into wine started, I was very young, and I started filing at Reciprocal. I started answering the phone and doing the filing, and I started there. I used to drink sweet pink rosé, and I thought I was very cool. And slowly but surely, I moved up. Then I started doing some accounts and some bookkeeping, and just developed this love and this passion for wine. I also didn't drink coffee. I also didn't swear, all of those kind of good things that you do when you're young. And slowly but surely just tasted through the Reciprocal wine portfolio. And at the time that I started, we had this small little garage in the back of the warehouse that had the Riedel glasses in, this tiny little warehouse. And that's my first kind of seeing of Riedel glasses. And throughout the years of being at Reciprocal, slowly but surely working my way into a position where this is what I do on a daily basis and absolutely love what I do. And today, yes, I really hope to take you on this journey. We are going to play around with different glasses. And what I'm hoping is to just give you a new perspective on glassware, that the next time you open your cupboard to grab a glass, that you will think about the glass itself, and hopefully get this message across to you that the shape of the glass really does make a difference. And so that's what we're going to explore today. That's the Riedel philosophy. And yeah, you don't need to have Riedel. Get different sort of shapes out of your cupboard. We're going to play around and pour into different glasses, so it's very casual. I'm going to be drinking the Saxenburg Chardonnay and the Shiraz, but whatever you have, we're going to pour into different glasses and just show how much impact the shape of the glass has on the taste of the wine that you're drinking. So to bring a feel to Riedel glasses for me, I was fortunate enough a few years ago to visit their headquarters in Kufstein in Austria. And so they are 260 years old. They are the wine glass company. Riedel family throughout the generations, currently in their 11th generation, Maximilian Riedel. And it was just incredible to be there, because it's not only the Riedel family that have been around for generations. The glass blowers inside the factory, their father's father's father was glass blowers. And so it's just like this family heritage and real history of people that just love the art of glass making. So you watch these the glass blowers, and they go to the furnace, and they're making the Riedel hand blown range, and they pull out the sommelier range. They pull out this molten glass from the furnace, and literally you watch them blowing this beautiful bowl, and you just stand there in awe of this incredible art that it is. Watching them blow decanters, hand and mouth blown decanters, and letting them shape them, and then watching them go through the furnaces. It really was an incredible experience. But what they do for you is they have a sensory workshop upstairs where you go in to this incredible space where it's dark at some places, you can feel with your hands in some places, and then obviously doing nose and taste experiences as well. And so the Riedel family really do believe that their glasses enhance your sensory experiences. And so I will work through that with you today, just in each of their glass collections and how they build it into their philosophy. A little bit of history on the Riedel family. So as I said, 260 years old, going back to 1756. Crystal was originally founded in Bohemia. And since then, the Riedel family have just been engineering and creating an incredible quality of glassware that is like no other. So just to mention the last few generations, Klaus Riedel, 9th generation, he really was the master of the concept called varietal specific glassware. So he stumbled upon tasting 2 wines out of 2 different shapes of glasses and realizing that you can't have the same glass for every single wine, because each wine is incredibly unique and incredibly different. And so a different shape of glass is going to bring out very different aspects of that wine. And so he created the concept called varietal specific glassware. He started with the Riedel sommelier range, so their hand and mouth blown range. This is the sommelier burgundy glass. As you can see, it's incredibly paper thin. If you can get a gauge of just how beautiful and elegant and fine the glass is. So yes, Klaus Riedel developed the sommelier range in varietal specifics. His son, George Riedel, so 10th generation, really made Riedel a household name. He brought Riedel to the people. He was an incredible marketer. He is an incredible marketer of the Riedel brand, and really went to the worldwide market and made it a household name. He engineered the Venum range, which is the very first machine-made varietal-specific range in history. So he was able to create the shapes using a machine rather than the hand and mouth-blown technology that they had before. And then finally, 11th generation Maximilian, current CEO of Riedel. He is responsible for engineering the Riedel O, the stemless glass. And if I put it here, they're very cool. They roll around the table if you knock them over. And what he wanted to develop was economy of space. So these glasses stack on top of each other. And if you've got a small apartment, they really are great. But what we've seen in South Africa is it really is about lifestyle, and people enjoy them outdoors for more casual drinking. They really are fantastic. So the stemless range. And then Maximilian really has been at the forefront of new technology when it comes to Riedel. So, you know, they haven't kind of sat back and just allowed the company to, you know, continue with all their same ranges. They really are at the forefront of making sure that they continue to innovate and continue to develop glasses. So one of those being the new shape of champagne glass. So this is it. They believe that the flute is outdated, and the downfalls of the flute are that they are very bubble focused, very bubble accentuated because of the shape of the tulip and how narrow and small it is. They feel that it really restricts the bubble, and as well as the taste of the champagne or your sparkling, your bubbly. What this glass is, it really opens up and allows those tastes and aromas and the beauty of that still wine that goes into champagne to shine. So that's a whole discussion on its own. We're not going to go into that this evening, but just that's one of Maximilian's recent projects. And then the new performance range, which has actually got optics in the glass. So if you can see on the camera now, within the glass, there are folds in the inside. So if you had to stretch this glass out, it's kind of folded within the glass, allowing more surface area. And so that also has been one of Maximilian's babies. And this they also accomplish with the machine. It's also a one piece. It's got from the bowl of the glass to the base of the glass. They literally pull the glass up and blow it onto the bowl, which is quite incredible using a machine. So that's just basically a little background into the Riedel family. George Riedel was here, I think about 5 years ago in South Africa, and it was so incredible to watch the master at work and really developing on this concept of varietal specific glasses. So I really want to walk through it with you this evening, and usually I do these tastings in front of people, like at a table and tasting together. So it's quite difficult to do it behind a computer screen to really give you a feel for it. So that's why I really hope that you can just taste with me and taste your wines so that you can just get an idea of this concept.
Well, just to interrupt you there for a moment, I think people are already getting a little bit excited. So there's one or two questions.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to pour wine so long.
Okay, sure. Maybe just to start those questions off,
Sure.
and it was going to be certainly one of my questions at the end, is the washing and dishwasher and hand washing instructions. I'm not sure if you're going to cover that a little bit later, or do you want to talk about it quickly?
Let me give it to you now. So all Riedel are dishwasher safe. They are guaranteed for 1,500 washes. They can be put into your dishwasher. I would just suggest that you put it into the top tray, that your top tray can actually move down, and so put it where it's secure, where it's not going to be able to fall over if you've got a tray above that, or in the bottom tray. And my suggestion also is only run glasses. Don't run it obviously with plates and things, because the residue will go onto glasses. So definitely 100% guarantee, 100% that you can put them in the dishwasher. The oak glasses are obviously easy. You just put them down into the top tray. Yeah. If you prefer to hand wash your glasses,
yes,
do that. And also there may be a question of, do they go milky? They definitely don't. Riedel glasses don't go milky, and that's often because of the water and the sulfur content in your water. But also just check that your rinse aid and your dishwasher are in, and your dishwashing liquid or powder are in balance. Decanters not dishwasher safe, unfortunately.
Okay, that's the next question. You obviously are anticipating these.
Riedel we've got decanter cleaning balls. So they're little stainless steel balls that you can pour into your decanter with a little bit of warm water, and you sort of shake it around, and that'll just take the residue off. This is a sort of older shape, but it's difficult to clean this. So you use those decanter cleaning balls, and if possible, if you can kind of stand it securely up just to get rid of the water residue. But they are there is ways of cleaning your.
Yes, I know. Well, although I say that, but in my house, I'm the only one that washes our Riedel glasses because
and a lot of people are like that, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I would just suggest don't wash them on the night of the dinner party after 4 bottles of wine. Leave them, just put a little bit of water in them so that that red residue doesn't stick to the glass, and then do them the following morning.
And leave them till the next day. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Riedel Experience, you've given us a little bit of the history and the background. Oh, by the way, Mornay has commented that Max did an online tasting with Krug where he showcased the new champagne flute, and he said it's quite amazing. So yes, people obviously know the brand and have interacted with it before. But start with the Riedel Experience and what that's all about.
Okay, amazing. So varietal specific glasses, and I do these tastings a lot, and people kind of roll their eyes and say, come on, you know, it's impossible. A lot of people are skeptics as to why are there so many glasses for different varieties. And I can also speak until I'm blue in the face, but until you have experienced an oak Chardonnay glass an oak Chardonnay wine, out of a glass that was designed and engineered for the specific purpose of drinking Chardonnay, so that when you nose it and you taste it, it pours to a very specific place on your palate. That really is an eye-opener, and really will just give you some insight into the Riedel philosophy. So they don't use technology, they don't use computers to come up with the concept. They sit on drawing boards and bring in experts from all over the world. So in the case of the Chardonnay glass, they will have winemakers that make Chardonnay, critics, lovers of Chardonnay that sit on a panel and taste it and taste it and taste it until they came up with the shape that would perfectly highlight and emphasize and bring you the very best from your Chardonnay. So this is what that oak Chardonnay glass looks like. As you can see, it's got a very broad and wide opening. Compare that to, for example, I'm going to pour my Chardonnay into a Sauvignon Blanc glass or an unoaked white wine glass, where you can see the bowl opening size is completely different. The shape is also completely different. So if you are drinking Chardonnay and you have a shape of glass like this, try it out versus a shape of glass like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk you through my experience and hopefully just give you a little bit of insight into why the shape makes such a difference. So as you can see, this is quite a short, almost belly-shaped glass. And when I put my nose into the Chardonnay glass, the aromas are sitting right on the cusp. They are literally right here. So as you know, obviously there are different layers of wine. There's, you know, the vegetal, the fruit, the herbal notes, there's, you know, the oaky notes as well. So all of those are packed into this glass and they are sitting right here on the cusp. So again, as I put my nose in, I'm already salivating. Max Riedel has a fabulous quote that the tongue is almost like one of the dullest organs. The tongue is not where you get your sense of all of those aromas of wine. It actually is happening in your nasal passages. So the smell of the wine is incredibly important because it's getting the message of the wine to your palate. So I'm getting brioche, I'm getting those delicious caramel notes, but at the same time as the oaking, there's that apple, there's some citrusy notes as well. There's so much going on in this glass. I'm going to pour it now into the glass that's designed for unoaked white wine, specifically Sauvignon Blanc. And I'm going to have a nose. And because of the shape of the openings, it's much more restricted. So I've lost the beauty of that oak. Those brioche and kind of breakfast in bed notes are not there anymore. All I'm getting is the citrusy notes, the fruity notes, but I really have lost the beauty and almost that like smell of fresh bread baking. I'm going to pour it back, and please do it if you are doing it at home and try it out and see what two different shapes of glasses will do to the nose of wine. And when we go to the taste, which we're going to get to now, I really want you to focus when you put the wine into your mouth and focus where it pours onto your palate. So really just feel the wine go onto your tongue and then taste what you get because of where it's pouring. So I'm going to have a taste of this. And because of this broad opening, this beautiful wide bowl, what the wine does is it pushes onto my mid palate and then laps off the side of my tongue. And really, this is one of my favorite experiences because it's giving that Chardonnay texture, it's giving it feel, it's giving it a real experience in your mouth. I can feel the silkiness of that Chardonnay. And after that, I get the beauty of what the Chardonnay grape is. It's got delicious, lively, acidic notes. That apple is really coming through, but it's an entire experience. It really is persistent and long, and it just changes the way that you look at Chardonnay. So I do these tastings a lot around the country, and a lot of ladies will say they don't like Chardonnay, they don't drink Chardonnay. And then I pour it for them in a glass that is made for Chardonnay. And they really do think, wow, that is Chardonnay. All this time, I've been drinking it out of a glass shaped like this. And it is a very different experience. So I'm just going to talk you through what I experience out of this glass. And this is made for wines that are lively and acidic. So what it does is it hits my tongue straight up. As I put this wine onto my tongue, you get sweetness on your tongue. That's the sensory on the tip of your tongue. And what that does is it helps to perceive the acid. And so it is lively and it's beautiful with acid. But again, I've just lost that silky texture. I've lost that feeling of the wine. And so it kind of puts it into a little bit of an imbalance for me. So I'm going to pour it back into the Chardonnay glass. And I'm drinking the 2018 Chardonnay. And I really get the beauty of that oak. So 10 months French oak, but in larger barrels. So it really isn't over oaked. It's just that like light, delicious oaking that I love about Chardonnay. So that really is one of the best experiences for me when it comes to Riedel, in that, okay, maybe I love Chardonnay too much, but it really gives your Chardonnay an experience. It gives it a mouthfeel. You can really taste that Chardonnay for everything that it is. And it's quite incredible to work with brands like Saxenburg because they believe in this concept. They believe that, you know, the winemaker will blood, sweat, and tears it in the vineyards and then in the cellar as well, and make his epitome of Chardonnay. And often we will put it into the wrong glass and the message is just completely lost. And so, you know, Saxenburg will serve their Chardonnay out of a glass like this because it really does emphasize everything that Chardonnay is and puts it in the best light possible.
Yeah.
So yes, that is Chardonnay and it's delicious and I'm very happy and excited right now.
The Chardonnay, I'm glad you chose the Chardonnay, but the Chardonnay tasting for me was the biggest eye-opener when I did that the first time. And sadly, I don't have all the Riedel range, so I don't have a Chardonnay glass. But even my two glasses, one is a wide opening, one's a more closed top. You can already say there's a difference, you know, between the two. So if I was really using the Riedel glassware, I'm sure I would have an even better experience. But the Chardonnay experience has always been amazing for me.
Yeah, so you may say, you know, well, then why Riedel if you can do it at home and you can, you know, try it out in the different shapes of glasses.
Yes.
But they've been around for 260 years and know what it's all about. So they really are, when it comes to this varietal specific concept, the leaders. And I promise you, you will take your glasses at home and then you will experience it in a Riedel. So I do encourage you, if you would like to try this out at home, to get a glass. And really then just do this again and try it out in a Riedel. It will blow your mind. So
well,
yes.
Chantal is telling us that she's definitely put some Riedel Chardonnay glasses on her next birthday wish list. So, yes. So now you're going to talk a little bit about the Shiraz.
Yes, I am going to talk about Shiraz. So I'm using the Venum range.
So thank you.
Sorry, say again.
That's our flagship variety. So thank you for.
So this was the Venum Chardonnay glass. So I'm using that machine-made, just good quality, fantastic way of making the glass. As I said, there is the performance range as well, and that was the Chardonnay glass in the performance range. So you can see it's still got that that belly. It's just the new technology of the optics as well. The Chardonnay glass also comes in the stemless range, so you've got lots of different options when it comes to what kind of Chardonnay glasses that you use, and it's really your preference and your lifestyle and you know what you like from a glass. Okay, Shiraz glasses, and Shiraz, of course. So moving on to the 2016 Shiraz, and again, this is a much different experience. So this glass is really tall and elongated. Riedel really do pay a lot of attention to the balance of the glass. So the way that the base, the stem, and the bowl are in perfect harmony. So when you pick this glass up, it's not top heavy, it's not bottom heavy, it's perfectly well weighted in your hand. I also wanted to mention that Riedel don't believe in rims on their glasses. Sometimes you get a rolled rim on a glass. Riedel believe that that's like a speed hump, so the wine has got to go over the rim and then sends it just to a wrong place in your palate. So they aren't rolled rims, and they actually fire polish their rims, so they are particularly soft and elegant. But again, when I put my nose into this glass, those aromas are right there. They are right on the cusp of that nose. I'm going to compare this to the Riedel Bordeaux glass, so made for all your Bordeaux varieties. And there really isn't much of a difference between these two glasses. And so this is just the stemless glass, obviously stem cut off. But as if you can see from that there really is only literally a few centimeters at the top. But what this is going to show is just how much science goes into varietal specific glassware, how literally 1 centimeter can alter where it pours on your palate and alter your experience that you get from that wine. So when I pour it in here, it's too short, so the aromas have blown off. I get quite a bit of alcohol because that's still lurking in the glass, but all of those delicious cherry and violet notes have blown off out of this glass because it's literally just a centimeter too short. So going back to the Shiraz glass, and all of that beauty has returned, I'm going to have a taste. And the taste zones on your tongue, you've got sweet, salty, acid, bitter, and umami right at the back. And so what this Shiraz glass does is it pushes where you perceive that spiciness, and you just get that sweety spice, all that goes on in the Shiraz. It's just lively on your palate, and it's integrated. The tannin has been softened. It is a 2016 vintage, so you would expect the tannins to be quite lively and quite bright, but it is soft and elegant. And that really is another thing about Riedel red wine glasses, is that they are engineered to manage the tannin. You know, tannin has to be in a wine, and often the problem with smaller glasses is that, and glasses that are not designed to manage the tannin, is that it'll blow the tannin out of proportion and you lose the fruit and the beauty of that wine. And so this is really, for me, managing those tannins. I also just want to do, if you still have a glass like this standing around, I remember my gran would always drink red wine out of a glass like this, and you watch the movies and they are still drinking red wine out of a glass like this. I don't know, maybe it's a cool shaped glass and people love it. But if you still have some red wine and a glass shaped like this, I'd like you to try and see what it does out of a glass like this. The nose, there's obviously not going to be anything because it's too wide, and again, like that glass, the aromas are blown off. But on the palate, there's that tannin. Now that tannin is there and in your face because it's not designed to manage tannin. So if you have any other smaller shape of red wine glass, please try and put it into that kind of shape and just see how much it just loses the fruit. So it's quite incredible just how much science goes into ensuring that you get the best experience from your wine. And that really is with the Shiraz glass. So 12 months in French oak, and even those oakiness, those oaky notes are softened. It's all about the fruit. And it really is delicious, Kerry.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I believe well the family are watching, and I think Dirk is as well. So thank you from all of them. But yeah, I think what people don't maybe get, and you've said it multiple times, is that there is a science behind it. It's not just a pretty glass, you know. It's not just something that is made for, you know, just to be fancy. It's actually, there is actually science behind it, and a lot of effort put into that, which is
so I really will encourage you to, if you ever get the experience, to come and join us at a Riedel tasting. Hopefully one day we'll be able to continue them around the table. But it does blow your mind, and I hope that you've tried it at home, even just with your glasses, because it will make a difference. The shape really is important.
Yes, it really does. And then well, just one of my favorite tasting experiences that I've done with you as well is when you use the black tasting glasses. What do the black tasting glasses, what is that all about?
So this is a blind tasting glass. It's completely black, and what you would do is you would have an array of wines, and sometimes obviously you can't see the color, you don't know anything, you don't know if it's red or white, you don't have any inkling on the varieties. And what will happen sometimes is, even with oak Chardonnay that has got texture and tannin, you could mistake that for a red wine. So it's quite a lot of fun. It obviously is for professionals that want to do blind tasting, but it really is great to enhance your wine knowledge. It really helps you to develop like key characteristics of varieties when you can't see them. So you'll put your nose in there and you've got no idea what it is, but it'll give you an association. So maybe you will smell apricots, or you will smell fresh mown grass, or your granny's old musty cupboard. But that scent will invoke a memory, and that's a really good way to attach it to whatever that grape variety is. So it just brings some fun to blind tasting. In fact, La Colombe restaurant uses it as one of their courses. They bring you this glass with a wine that you don't know about, and you do a little blind tasting, which is quite fun.
Yeah, that is, and I know I've done that experience once and got the wine completely wrong.
Me too.
It was a red
They
and
gave
a white.
They gave me a Bocatraub, I think, which was just like,
goodness, that's hard though. That's a tricky one anyway, when you can see the color. So, but I think we judge so much with our eyes. You know, that's the other thing.
So it's quite fun.
So many times we do these tastings and we say, what do you taste? You know, let us, as opposed to just saying, oh, looks like a wooded, rich Chardonnay. Oh, I'm not going to drink that, you know, whereas people need to actually have the experience of the taste. And
tasting is very personal. You know, for me, it may be something that is not for you. So it's really just good to develop a personal aroma table, you know, for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to start.
Well done. And then there have been a few questions about the decanters. I know you've just touched on it, but maybe just talk about your different ranges, because we've got a couple of different ones. And, you know, and those, for me, the Riedel decanters are just epitome of luxury and elegance.
Yeah.
I just always think, and I'm not a big, I don't do a lot of decanting, but when I do use my Riedel decanter, I feel special, never mind the wine as well. So yeah.
So decanting, really, Riedel believe that, young wines deserve to be decanted, and old wines. It just really shows a sign of respect to the wines. When they're young, they may still be quite tight and quite constricted within the bottle. So put it into a decanter and it just opens it up. And in terms of old wines, it may have separated, the sediment may not be all together with the wine anymore. So you put it into a decanter and it just kind of brings it all together again. But they really are works of art. They are incredible pieces. So if you have a chance to go onto the Riedel website, or they have a Riedel app where you can have a look at all the different shapes and sizes. This is one of the older, it's called the Extreme decanter. So a dual system of air that flows around the decanter. It's also great to be able to pour out of a decanter like this. It's got quite a nice spot. But the new decanters that there are really functional. So you'll get the Eve decanter, which looks like a snake, and you'll turn it clockwise, and it'll put a pour of wine into the spout, and it'll leave the rest in the base of the decanter. Oh, wow. And they really just are works of art and aesthetics, and quite a cool talking piece on your table.
Yes.
So yeah, also another birthday wish list.
Yes, I want one of those pink ones. But are the decanters all hand blown, or are some of them
all hand blown? So hand and mouth blown. And when I was in Kufstein, they were actually blowing one of the Eve decanters. So it's almost got like a base plate, and then they pull it up like this, and then they literally blow air into its belly, and the belly expands. Oh. It's quite incredible and quite something. There is YouTube videos as well if you have some time during this time. Yeah. Have a look at the making of Riedel decanters as well.
Ah, fantastic. That's fantastic. Then there is one question from Conrad. Should one shake the decanter with the wine in it to break the wine up a little bit for the younger wines in particular?
No, just the decanter will do the work. So they've been designed so that there's enough surface area so that the wine can develop within the decanter. They say about half an hour to 45 minutes for all the wines, more on an hour. So if you're planning your next dinner party whenever that can happen, you've got all your notes that you can put down of what you need to do. But so just decant a little bit before time.
In the meantime, we can prepare by purchasing the decanters from you, right? So that when we can have our next dinner party, we all ready with our glasses.
Yes, and it's a story. So I hope that you'll share the story with your friends and your family, because a lot of people are wowed when they first experience this concept. So it can be your next party trick. So to assist with that, we'd like to give you, because of this tasting, a 20% discount of all of our glasses that are on our portfolio throughout the different ranges. Most of the glasses come in a 2-pack. So that's the Venom Shiraz. I know it's backwards, but that's what the pack looks like. And yeah, we would really like to celebrate with you and give you a nice discount on that. And Saxenburg have also got some exciting glasses in their tasting room. So Kerry will also give you details about that. But just on a kind of celebratory note, Riedel believe that if your wine chose a glass, it would definitely be a Riedel. So cheers to that, and to celebrating and drinking with you this afternoon. It really is a weird and wonderful new way of doing it.
Yes.
But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this experience.
Yes, thank you so much, Tarryn. We really have, and it's interesting to see that you can actually see the shapes of the glasses, even through the screen. You can see those little ridges on the new
on the optics,
on the optic glasses. Oh, I mean, it is actually something that you can do in the future. You can reach out to more people now.
But please, if you have any technical questions, email me. But there really is some fantastic content online. Riedel's got a YouTube channel, and their website is really cool and interactive with videos and things.
Yes,
So
I was on it when I had to do my glassware video. So yes, I used a lot of the content. Thanks, Riedel.
and yeah, thank you to you at Saxenburg for, you know, ensuring that your guest that comes to the tasting room gets the very best out of your wines because they served in Riedel. So cheers to that as well.
Yes, thank you. Well, to end off, and thank you for the questions. We haven't got to all of them, and there's a lot of comments. I'll share them with you, Tarryn. But there's a lot of really positive comments about your great service and about
Awesome.
your
Oh, shame.
amazing job that you do. So there's obviously a lot of fans out there for
Cool.
what you are doing. So well done on that. But thank you all for joining us. Please follow us on our YouTube channel where this video and others are there for you to see. Again, we've spoken about this before, but whatever you have in your glass, especially if it's Saxenburg, of course, please rate us on Vivino. It's a great app for all the wine lovers out there, and it's also quite a nice way to keep a record of the wines that you have tasted. Next time you will see Dirk again, and he's going to be hosting Johan Fuljun. He's a consultant viticulturist and winemaker, and they're going to talk all about the importance and history of clones, different varieties available in the SA market. So very much on the technical side of viticulture and what's available and what's happening at this stage. So it'll be super exciting. I'll send out the invitation early next week again. We have included a prize draw again for being part of this webinar, and
Yes.
I asked Dirk to, yes, we didn't talk about that.
Sorry.
To choose the name out of all of your names, and the prize draw is going to be a Riedel decanter. So Tarryn was able to offer that to us. So it's a Riedel decanter and a magnum of Saxenburg private collection, and the winner is Kaylee van Heerden. So we will get that prize to you as soon as we possibly can. We look forward to welcoming you to the next episode, which is next week. And cheers. And thank you again, Tarryn. So nice to have you with us.
Such a pleasure. Cheers, everyone.
Have a good evening.